What's up? Peter Pedro White. Back
Hello.
in the house. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So my email went to your spam.
Yeah, I literally just clicked. So both of them did. I was like, this is very unlike them not to have sent a link like a month before I'm on.
I do that to you on purpose because I didn't get yours either when I went on your show, and I didn't know any of the questions. And then I asked you the questions before the show started, and you're like, "Wait,
did you read
what?"
the email?
Yeah, it's payback. Although I don't see a list of questions in here.
No, there's no list of questions, but it's gonna get spicy. It's gonna be a good time.
Okay.
Can we start with his show this week? Because
yes, please.
It was fucking amazing.
Oh, the debate, yeah.
Yes.
Whatever. If Taylor shows up with good energy, it's just freewheel.
Yep.
What happened? It looked like you didn't know that was going to happen. That like Seth and Taylor were going to be on.
No, I think
100.
so. I think I don't know if they knew each other before. I think I maybe semi-introduced Seth and Taylor when we did the programming shows where we went through programming and stuff. And I think I kind of figured they'd get on. I figured they had similar outlooks and beliefs on programming, but also would diverge on certain issues, and it would make it entertaining. So I thought they'd be good for it, and they got on well. And then I think they like kept in touch or whatever. So I think Seth was just prepared for.
It was awesome.
I think once Taylor said one thing to him, Seth was like, "All right, fuck this," and just went for
Game
it.
on.
Yeah.
Yo,
Seth's a good dude though.
What happened to John Young? It looked like after you talked about how he drinks his protein shakes, he was flustered and wasn't himself.
So he's doing this great bullshit career, and the HGR homegrown relief CBD. This.
Yep.
Yep. We have ours next to us.
We have ours next to us too. Yeah.
They brands are big into product on camera. So he I kind of helped put the two of them in touch with each other, and one of the selling points to both was I was like, look, I'll help him with the content. So like if he needs to make a reel or something, I'll help him. God love him. Oh, if there's one thing I regret offering to do, I'll as John said on the debate the other day, I'll preface this with
I wanted to bring that up too.
I love John. Like he's like a brother, but the kind of brother that you keep in the attic and feed fish to. I was like, right, John, I have an idea for a reel, right? Let's do this. And I gave him a shot list. Like I was like, I want this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And then he called me and was like, yeah, I think I know what you mean. So you want me to do, this, this, and this. And I was like, no. That's like just literally what I said in the message. I took all of the effort out of it for you. And then he was like, okay, yeah, I have this idea about wall balls. And I was like, look, John, just do whatever the fuck you want and just send it to me and I'll make something out of it. Not one thing that I told him to get came back. And I was like, all right, I'll just make it work. And then this time was the same. He called me and said, oh, I have an idea for some content for the CBD. And I was like, okay, cool. What is it? And he explained it to me over the phone. And I was like, yeah.
No.
Okay, yeah, okay. And he was like, do you know what I mean though? And I said, yeah. Like didn't have a clue what he was talking about. And I was like, yeah, I think I have it. I was already thinking of a different idea that I could probably make work with whatever he sent me. So then I just did that. And that's the what do you call it? Barry White. Rubbing on the ointment.
Yep.
I don't know what he wanted me to make. I still don't know what he was talking about. So I just made that instead. But yeah, I think in that footage that he sent me this time, there's a clip. He puts the CBD droplets into a drink and drinks it. And I watched it like 400 times. I just kept I was just entranced by it. I was like, this is so weird the way he's drinking this liquid. It was just panicked and like That's why, because I asked Matt on the show, I was like, was that a joke? Like, were you being funny the way that you drank it, or is that the way that you actually drink drinks? It was just like, I don't know how to describe it.
It was
like,
great. You were like, look at him watch it. Look at him. Look at him
I
drink
have a
it.
clip. I have a clip I haven't put out yet of it's just repeated John drinking and me commenting on it in the middle of it. Yeah, no, it's just that show just got off the rails. And I think like JR texted me straight after and was like, you haven't gotten that giggly with Taylor in a while. And like when I used to do the games update shows, Taylor and I kind of would frequently set each other off, and then it would just derail both of us for 20 minutes.
Sevan drinks the same way. I've never noticed it. I've never watched anybody drink anything and had like an opinion on it. But after you said it, and then I watched it the second time when you said it, I was like, okay.
I think it's because he maintains eye contact with the camera. I think that's what the issue is, that he's like staring down the barrel as he drinks. But it's just, I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe bullies used to steal his drink when he was a kid or something. I don't know. Something going on.
You're like, it's not going to go away, dude. It's here. It's here.
No one's taking it from you.
It was great.
That's my son does that as well. My son, if you give my son a drink, he will not stop until it's gone. And he's like panting, trying to finish it. It's like, I'm not going to take it off you. Like it's safe.
Let me say hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Megan, Kenneth, Judy Reed, Joseph, Ken. Like, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Love y'all. I know that today is the Kentucky Derby, and appreciate y'all for being here, even though it's the Kentucky Derby. But have you seen, I will ask you this, Pedro, are you interested at all in American sports in any way, shape, or form?
Horse racing isn't American, is it? That's like global.
Is it global? I mean,
we have horses.
But no, like the Preakness, the Kentucky Derby, and that, I don't know.
I've heard of it. Like, yeah, we have. Have you heard of ours? Have you heard of like the ones over here, like Punchestown, Cheltenham, Aintree? No, the Grand National.
Entry.
Yeah,
I've heard of that before.
Yeah,
but I just watched the documentary on it, so now I feel like I know everything about horse racing because there was a documentary on Prime. But
must have been a slow week.
It was absolutely, but it was a fire show.
Megan said, "Are you late because you're waiting on me?" At the time I was given was 9:05, and I was here at 9:04.
She likes to talk shit because we always set it for 5 minutes after the time that we're planning on.
We always do that, yeah.
Because we've had guests that show up like super late, so we're just like, fuck it, we'll just give 5 extra minutes or whatever. But then sometimes we decide, well, fuck it, we don't want to wait 5 extra minutes, so we go live. She doesn't appreciate that we are either early or on time or pick whatever time we feel like going on. So that's
time is a construct of man. So
here we go. No, let's not go there. CrossFit Taylor signed up for the Breeders' Cup, but didn't know it was horses. Speaking of the Breeders' Cup,
have you ever seen anyone artificially inseminate a horse?
I've heard that could happen, but no, I've never seen it.
There's it's like
a job.
You know fleshlights.
Yeah. Yes,
it's
I know.
Basically like fleshlight. Flesh.
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 No, I have no idea what that is. What does that do?
Let's Google it there in another tab. It is like a flashlight, but it's a vagina.
I'm sorry, what now? I mean, this is leading into exactly what I want to ask you, but keep going. What about a vagina and a flashlight?
I don't think we're both headed for the same destination with this.
I think we are.
So it's like a fleshlight is a flashlight sized implement with a vaginal opening that you use for masturbatory purposes. But for artificially inseminating a horse or a cow, the vet uses something similar. It's like a sheath that tricks the horse or the bull into thinking like, oh, nice. Bit of fresh
You want to see
pussy.
what the screen shows me? Hold on.
Blurry images.
Let me show you what the screen, y'all want to know fleshlight? Because Google wouldn't even like finish the word for me. So here you go. Fleshlight. That's what that is.
You can turn off blur.
No, I don't want
Granny.
to turn off blur.
It just looks like it looks like a torch, but with something weird on the end.
How do
You
s-
can
Just the top where it says off.
at the top.
Oh, I got you. Okay, fine.
There. Oh, that's not what I was thinking of. The one that's highlighted.
Okay. So this.
Oh, there's a butthole one. Look at the bottom right. And then a devil one or a dragon one. Cool.
Oh my god.
And look at the mouth is so messed up.
What's
Jeez.
up, Tyler?
I just tuned in. What the fuck? Yeah, dude. I don't know.
We're talking about the Kentucky Derby. Like genuinely. We're talking about horses.
Oh shit. No, because I was going into, did you know that last weekend we had our first sperm racing event in the United States in Los Angeles?
No, I thought you were going to tell me something about you guys' marriage there for a minute. No. How do you do that? What do you put in a petri dish beside a vagina and see what happens?
Yo, we did do sperm racing. That's how we got our son. So we picked the sperm that we thought would swim the fastest so we could get our kid. But yeah, no, there was actually 2 men, 2 specimens, and it was sperm racing. Like they
Like
did
who
it.
finished first? What
We
do you
don't
mean?
know. There was,
No, as in which of the guys finished? Is that what the race was?
no.
Who could shoot the furthest? Who finished first? There's different prizes. Furthest, fastest, thickest,
No,
most viscous.
no, it was literally like whose swimmers swam the fastest to whatever. They like put them in a little.
Wait,
like,
so someone was like watching through the.
it was a microscope.
Through the
Yeah,
microscope.
You
And
can
they-
see, yeah, it is. They look like little tadpoles, don't they?
yeah, it was the actual like.
At least when I spit them out, this. Oh, fuck no. Can we start over? Tell me when you go live.
My question is how do you train for that? We have a way to train for anything else, but how do you
It
train?
is a thing though, isn't it? Isn't like sperm count and because isn't there a thing of like
Tyler most
hard.
smart.
yeah, loudest grunt. Isn't there a thing of like I know people who have trouble conceiving, one of the reasons is like low sperm count and another reason is like lazy sperm.
Yes.
Yes.
So they just like come out and just like ugh, nah. They just sit there.
Mhm.
They don't like wiggle.
They don't swim.
We found out that there's high sperm. Like if you smoke a lot of weed, your sperm
They're just chill. They
they're
don't
just
move.
your
Just-
sperm are
They
just
come
chill
out
and they-
eating Doritos.
Yeah, but if you stop smoking for like 2 weeks, then your sperm like
They start swimming again.
they get it. They're on it. They understand the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, okay.
What if you
Cool.
take like speed?
Oh, do they go fat? Oh, is that a way to train? That might be a way to train for this.
Maybe that's what they do. They take a
sperm
shit ton of
racing,
cocaine.
pre-workout.
Yep.
Judy Reed.
Yep.
Fair.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, that's what we
That's
That's
topic
what we-
one.
yeah, that's topic 1.
I had no idea about this topic, so
because I sent it to my friend. It was actually in the New York Post, and so I screenshotted it and sent it to my friend. He's like, "I can't talk to you anymore. Like, this is not okay." Like, so I was like, "Sorry, just how to train your white dragons."
I wonder, does it change like if you? Oh man.
C4
thinking, is
Hillers
this-
must be super speedy.
I was wondering if this is worth continuing or not. I wonder if you
It can
have
be.
the. I'm sure they have tested, but I wonder if you leave like a month build up. Are they?
That's what I was thinking.
Confused? Are they like
Oh.
banging into each other? Are they super fast? Are they like
Hmm.
ultra determined to get to the ovular destination, even if it's just a sock?
So I would think like the top ones would be ready to go, like the ones on top.
Listen, it's not always the top one that wins.
Because I was
I'm here.
if you But if you think about like a CrossFit sprint, like, you know, when they're all like, hey, everybody's running at the same time, and the ones that are pushing to get to the front.
Yeah, I guess. So you're saying CrossFitters are sperms?
Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, they
There's a
came from it.
parallel. There's a parallel.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. Okay. All right, good. Glad we got that out of the way. Everybody's feeling
Sperm.
frisky.
Tick.
Let's go. So how are the babies?
Speaking of, we're really going up the chain. Sperm, babies. You'll ask me about me then my dad. Just keep going up the generations. Yeah, they're good. Our youngest, we're at that really, really annoying stage now where there's locks on every fucking cabinet and cupboard. And I keep forgetting we're like poor, so our cupboards don't close fully everywhere. You know, like the top might touch the frame, but the bottom might be a little bit of a gap. So all the locks are in different points on all the different cabinets. So you're like, oh, is this one at the top or the bottom? And then you're losing where we have those magnetic ones. And then you're losing like where the magnet is because my wife, doesn't put them back where they're supposed to be. I won't name names, but no matter how many times I tell her. Yeah, so now we're at that stage where he's figuring out, he's just watching us and copying us. And then it's really fucking annoying. But yeah, he's good.
How old is he now?
He'll be one in 12 days or on the 16th of May.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. That's right. It's been a while since we've chatted with you.
Yeah, he's crawling, sort of pulling himself up, incredibly socially engaging, like by far the most of the three. Physically retarded, but socially, like he's nonstop smiling and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, he's a great kid. Very like so easy compared to the other two.
I was gonna say, are there any similarities or complete differences between him and the other two?
Visually or aesthetically, there's a lot of similarities. Personality wise, almost none. Like he's constantly smiling. His default is happy smiling. Sloane's default was
screaming,
bleeding ears, like you know. And then Bodhi's default was just dumbstruck looking, like all the time. But yeah, no, I think we're lucky with them. Like Bodhi's a fucking nightmare to be honest. But Sloane's so good with the baby that she's like she'll always entertain him and she'll stand dancing for him for an hour, like, you know. So he's very well catered for when it comes to entertainment and, you know, stuff to look at. And he just watches them all the time and then copies them and follows them and stuff. So it's easy with him.
Is Bodhi a like pull the hair, push over? Kind of kid when
he's just a bit of a dick. Like he's really entertaining and one-on-one. Like if you're with him on your own, he's amazing and he's so entertaining and so nice, and he'll help you, like, you know, help you do any job you're doing and make it take an extra 3 hours. But like he's really good. But as soon as you put him beside just one of the other two, he's just such a fucking asshole. Like if Sloane touches something, he immediately needs to have it. Or if Otis touches something, he immediately needs to have it. And he's a great man for the but I just, so if you're like, oh, earlier on today we set a 20-minute timer on Alexa and we were like, right, we're all going to tidy up the house. You guys do the playroom, like where the toys are. I'll do the kitchen. Mom's going to do upstairs. Cool. And break. And then I turned around and he was still standing behind me and I was like, what are you doing? You're helping Sloane in the toy room. And he goes, but I just was, it's just like, I immediately
you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Just forget it. Go and sit down somewhere. And then he's like, but I will tidy. I was like, look, just do whatever you want to do. I'm not arguing with you about it. And then Orla asked him to bring coats. It was like 5 coats. And he's like, will you bring these upstairs and leave them for the attic? Because we're going to put them away for the winter. So he carries 1 coat upstairs. And then he spent 20 minutes, the rest of the 20-minute timer, standing at the top of the stairs shouting, I'm ready to open the attic now. We're like, no, you're not opening it. We're going to put it up later on. Just bring up the rest of the coats. But I just want to. No, like this is just what's happening. And then after we gave Sloane like money for her money box and a sticker for like she's doing the little reward chart. So we gave her a sticker and he's like putting his hand out for money and a sticker, and I was like, get fucked.
Outta
Like
here.
you
Just
literally moved
did nothing.
one coat. That was it for the whole 20 minutes. Yeah, loft. Sorry, not attic. Loft.
Yeah, Jan, get him.
Yeah.
You're the. My kid just watched your video where you explained to him about Ireland and where you live and whatever, and he was just like, "Yes, I know Pedro," and I was like, "Yes, you do know Pedro." We're probably never going there, but like, yeah, we're,
Well, the
You're not-
chore. So we're starting to do something similar with Garrett now that he's a little bit older. And every month he's gonna like learn a new chore. So this month is washing the dishes, and I'm like, is this a good idea? Is this a smart choice to teach him this? And I feel like we probably say that about a lot of things. Like we're supposed to ask our kids to help, teach them things and whatever, but they make them take longer. They never actually
It's
help.
almost a punishment for us
So
as much
much
as it
longer.
is like.
But isn't it the long game though? You're playing for the someday they can do it. Like we're getting rid of a hedge around our garden. Do you guys call it a hedge? Yeah, like bushes
hedges.
or whatever.
Yep.
So we're getting rid of them. And Bodie came out. I was filling this like, oh fucking hell! I bet we better get like 5 acres back with this. But there's like stones and that felt shit under around the bottom of the bushes. So you have to cut the felt, peel it apart, dig out the bush, then scoop out all these stones. And he's coming out going, "I'll help you." And he has his little fucking shovel and his little wheelbarrow. But within about 2 minutes, he's jealous of me with the spade and the big wheelbarrow. And the amount of times I've hit him with the spade or the shovel or whatever, because I'll just turn around and he'd be like right where I'm been working for the last 20 minutes. And I'd hit him and he'd be like, "Oh, you hit me." And I'm like, I've just started to hand him the shovel. I'm like, "Okay, you do it." Because I know within 20 seconds, he'd be like, "I cannot do it." Like, okay, I'll do it then. But it's just quicker than trying to explain to him that he's too small and he's just so stubborn. Gets it from his mother.
Ken Walters, if we had a dishwasher, we would do that.
No, we are.
You soon will. If you train him right, you soon will have a dishwasher.
That is true.
Let him, Jan Clark, let him do the dishes. Yeah, the only problem with that is when he does the dishes, it's like stim for him. So he'll stay washing dishes for like.
Oh, just with the water.
He wants to play with the
he
bubbles
just wants to stim.
and whatever.
And
so I put the dish he had for breakfast this morning and the cup. And I was like, "You wash these." You can wash those 2 dishes. I washed everything else before.
90 minutes later.
Yeah.
I feel like I've asked you this, but I forget, and now I really want to do a kind of a deep dive.
Pause.
Okay.
Yeah, pause. How long have you been married?
I'm so bad at maths.
Oh,
what
what year did you get married? I'll do
7 years, 8 years, 7 years now.
Okay.
We had our 7th anniversary, we'll say. Yeah.
And just to like have some fun with.
Can you edit out that pause?
Okay.
Where I was trying to think.
I'll edit it out live.
I just answer straight away. Yeah. Okay.
And just to have some fun with what's been happening this week, Colleen and I have been kind of trying to talk about it a little bit. And she asked me, like, what was it that made you want to just marry me and be with me and whatever? And I can pinpoint some certain areas, but like, was there one thing that you can remember that was just like, yeah, she's it for me. I'm getting married. That's like, I'm ready to do this. No.
I think. I don't know if there was one. I think it was more an accumulation of like little things. I was actually thinking about this today. Why the fuck was I thinking about this today? That's weird.
That's a good question.
I was thinking about it today that I think when you first meet someone, you there's so many like reasons that you like someone at the start might not stick around forever, but they just get displaced by like different reasons or new reasons or whatever. So like there might have been certain reasons early on that I liked and then loved Orla, but then they not that I don't love her for those reasons anymore, but now I love her more because I see her as a mother and I see the way she treats the kids and the way she helps and supports me and like those kind of things. Maybe that sounds a bit transactional, but like you just kind of see something in them. Like when I see her how patient she is with the kids and how caring she is. Like we could have the worst night, and then one of the baby will wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'll just hear her going like "Good morning," and I'm like, "How the fuck are you not just like calling him a prick?" like how are you not getting mad at him? Now my madness is internal. But I think that those kind of like the admiration and the just awe and whatever else, the wonder, whatever else you want to call it, have probably replaced things that were there early on. Because like we met when we were 23 or 24 or something, and we're both like late 30s, well mid 30s, like 36. So obviously we've changed a lot in that time.
Yeah.
Like the core of her is still the same, you know what I mean? But like interests change and hobbies change and all that kind of stuff. So lots of the frivolous stuff around the edges where I would be like, oh, I really love that she does that. Like maybe she doesn't do that thing anymore, but now she does, like looks after the kids and that's replaced it, or she, you know, has different interests that have replaced the early ones. But I think, yeah, I don't think I could pinpoint one thing. I think I was really attracted to her, like physically. I think I was really attracted to her sense of humor, and the fact that she thought I had a good sense of humor. I think, yeah, there's a lot. I don't know if I ever said.
Did you date a lot beforehand? Like you were like when you met, the age when you met sounds like it was really young. Had you dated a lot before that? Because like when I met Colleen, I was older. I had already kind of done my 20s.
Sowing your wild oats.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd already had your sperm races.
Yeah, I already had my sperm races. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, like not really. I think I went to like boarding school. I went to.
So you were ready to win the sperm races, is what you're saying. You're at boarding school
with the priests. Oh no, that's a joke. Father Masterson always had the fastest sperm. I'm really impressed at how quickly I came up with a fake priest name and didn't use a real one from school, because that would have been really bad. No, I think I went to boarding school, lived out the country, like in the middle of nowhere, like half an hour, 30 minutes from the nearest town, like, you know, just really isolated growing up. So there wasn't much opportunity for like dating. It's not like I was like, oh, I'll just go down to the fucking local, Jesus, I can't even think of where you go, like mall.
Watering hole.
So it was more like out the country, didn't really engage with people outside of like my parents or, you know, like neighbors. There wasn't many of them either. And then in school, it was an all boys school, like boarding school. So there was no real thing happening there. Then when I got to college, I was so inept. I probably still am, but I was so inept around women that because I had basically never seen one for like 10 years, that I wasn't like directly related to. So then, college, I would have described myself as a slow starter in college. And then I fucked up college and stopped. And then when I went back to college, the second time I met Orla, I mean, I was with other women. Like, I wasn't like a.
That's what I'm just saying. Like, did you?
I'd say I like. I think when I met Orla, I just knew like, okay, yeah, if this goes the way I want it to go, like bingo.
This is who you want.
Yeah. I was actually dating someone else at the time when I met Orla, and we were friends for a while, and I was like, oh fuck, like this is like I like her more than my girlfriend. So even if nothing happens, I can't in good conscience like stay with someone.
Yeah.
Even if nothing ever comes of it, I just wouldn't be able to live with myself not knowing, and I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I found out but still had a girlfriend or whatever. So I broke up with my girlfriend, and then I don't know, a while later I asked Orla on a date, and we went to see the Lego movie in cinema when it came out first.
Oh jeez.
And
that's amazing. That was the first date? Lego movie? I love it.
Well, it depends who you ask. So I was like, yeah. I remember coming out of the cinema and my car got clamped, like had a boot on it, like for parking. And it was $140 or something to free it up. And it was only Orla was like, "Oh shit, that's a shit one." I was like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "All right, well, I'll see you at college, next week." Whatever. She just like left, and I had this realization of like, oh, only I thought this was a date. I was like, she thought we were just going to see something like by happenstance. And I think then I said it to her afterwards, and she was like, "Oh no, I didn't know that at all." So then we went on an actual date, and then the rest is history, as they say. Yeah.
Okay. No, I like that answer too, because I can never pinpoint one thing. So I always just feel
I think
like
if you can, you're in trouble, right? Like if you're like, "Oh, it's because of the boobs," like.
I always say, like, I was attracted to her because of her butt. I'll never say that wasn't. I've told Sevon this many times.
Have you ever told the story?
I felt me.
Have you ever told the story?
I told the story on Sevon's channel.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, like she was leaving our house. I was sitting at the kitchen table. She was leaving. She was in jeans. Her butt was amazing, and I fell out of the chair trying to watch her walk all the way out of the house. So
smooth.
Right? It was not at all. I was terrible. And
then she stood me up because I invited her and her sister to come out to a bar that night, and they stood me up. So
I did. I went to sleep. It was night time. I
was
older.
Treat them mean, keep them keen. Fall off the chair 1 minute, don't show up the next minute. Just leave them confused.
But I say that too, and I like what you said. Like, yeah, she was my friend. Like, she was my best friend. We had been talking for a long time before we ever actually went on a date, and I feel like that's it. Like, if it's your best friend, you kind of can't turn away, right? Like, there's nothing you can do. It's like, I'm going to tell you everything. She knows everything. There's nothing she doesn't know. I don't have a fucking lock on my phone. Like, I don't put my phone face down when I'm sitting eating dinner with her. Like, and if there's anything like that, then I don't know, red flag kind of thing.
Yeah, I will say I don't let Orla see the group chat.
I was gonna say, like, I'm sure there are certain things that you're like, it's just the guys. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
we don't have that
sake.
though. That's men shit. I wouldn't want to see that either. Like, if I was married to a man, I wouldn't want to have no part of a men's group chat. I'm in a group chat with just Jake and Jan, and I feel like that's enough for me to ever know what any man is thinking at a random time. Like, I don't need to know else.
I know, Jan.
Colleen's in it now.
I made the mistake. I found one reel and I showed her and I said, "Babe, this is hilarious. You have to send this to Jake and Jan." And she's like, No. If it's that good, you have to send it to them. I was like, I don't want to be in a group chat with them because I hear the stories of what you say that they talk about. And then when we do our show with them, I get a glimpse of what they talk about. I'm like, I don't need to be in this chat. It's cool. Fuck it. I sent this, and this chat never shuts up now.
Oh, do you have
Instagram
it? Show them what it is.
Never
show Pedro. I want to see if Pedro has to say. Like, that's amazing. Vicky, I think us ladies need our own locker room thread.
I'm called not hog chat, but hog chat, and it just is fucking.
Yeah,
it is nonstop.
Yo, that thing that. Oh man.
It's not even a conversation though. It's just
it's literally real.
You're just punching each other in the face with memes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta go to the top because you're the first one.
I know. Did you see how? And
yeah, there you go.
All
this is Colleen sends this. That's literally all it is.
That's it.
I was expecting them to start doing it to each other.
Colleen says one reel and then it's over. It's all done.
Oh my God.
So,
and half of them, and I'm just telling them the truth right now, half of them, I just open it so that the notification goes away because there's some of them. There were a couple that I actually watched. I was like, oh my God, I cannot watch this shit all day. But then it fucks with your algorithm.
It does.
Now my algorithm is
jacked up.
I remember I sent Tyler like a reel of an Irish guy that I thought he'd find funny, and then like a month later he was like, my whole fucking feed is Irish.
Okay, Yeah. So, all right, back to we got off the rails again. Or do you want to answer something? Do you see something?
No,
Women,
sorry, I was just
women can be nastier than
spacing out.
guys. They just do it discreetly. Yeah, that's fair. We do,
Mm-hmm.
and then we don't.
I don't know about that.
No, really.
No, I don't know. I've never been in a female group chat.
Well, that's what I was gonna. The next one, and I'm gonna ask the women tomorrow too, because we're going on Sevens with Ellie Hiller and
Oh
probably
yeah.
a surprise guest, and so I want to ask the women too. But I'll just ask you, just because I want to know what dudes think about all this stuff too. But Mitchell Hooper's wife going on IG.
Did she?
Yeah, she went on IG and like posted her thing, and then all the women from the or not all the women, but the woman that Luke's wife, ex-wife, she was in there and she was like, yeah, girl, whatever, fuck these men, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. I personally have no problem with her. Like, she is pregnant with a baby. You cheated on her. He made it public. She went on afterwards. I got no problem with it. I'm there for he's a public figure, right? Like, isn't
Well,
that always
he opened the door himself.
right?
So
So if she
yeah,
was
he
on
came
there,
out and asked him for privacy. If he wanted privacy, he would have just kept his mouth shut and just dealt with it himself.
yeah. So I kind of have I personally wouldn't like if something happened with Colleen and I wouldn't want to. But if I cheated on her and she did that, I'd be like, well, I deserve that shit. Like,
Well, I think if in this highly hypothetical scenario,
yes,
if she cheated on you and she can't, no, sorry, if you cheated on her and
yes,
you put up a story saying, can everyone just give me some privacy about this, like these stories that are going, now you've opened the door. So now if she
Mhm.
posts something, there's no way, you've no reproach. You can't turn around and say, well, it's okay for me. I mean, I have loads of followers, so it's okay for me to do it. My community expects something of me. She's entitled to do whatever she wants, regardless, but you've opened the door anyway. I think if you didn't say anything publicly and she suddenly put up a post saying, oh, my partner's a dick, then you would have some ground maybe to be like, that was a bit unfair to go public like that. I mean, I know I fucked up, but that was, a bit rough. But I think when you talk about it first, that's it. Cards are on the table. You can't take them back.
And that's the most, Judy, and I get this. I totally get this, Judy Reed. I hate all this being so public, especially for their kids. It will make reconciliation that much more difficult. I really don't think there's going to be any reconciliation, like other than hopefully they can be good co-parents. And it is going to make it harder for their kids. But I would say, like, he devastated her. And if what she needs to cope is to go out there after he already went out there and be like, dude, you did this to us. Like, I'm not, it is scarring for the kids. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But I understand why she's doing it, and I don't fault her for it. Like, I get it. I understand it, is what I'm saying. Like, if there were no kids, Petty Wop Wednesday, like, fine. There are kids. I understand why people are like nervous about it, but also too, this probably is the most devastating thing she'll ever be for, or she's ever been through. And she's gonna have feelings. And just like the other woman, I forget her name. I'm so sorry, I forget her name. But Luke's ex-wife, like, I understand why they did it. And it's almost a like, hey, you hurt me this badly. I need some form of control back or some form of power back or some form of something back.
Yeah, it's a mix of that plus an emotional lack of self-control, probably.
Yeah.
Like, which is I'm not judging them for it, but it's
Right,
probably
right.
like in some circumstances, it's probably like this will, gain me sympathy, act as a punishment to them. Like there's a few different things like that as well, that the kind of guttural instinctive reaction that I think is usually the one that you try and fight. Like usually the one that you say like, all right, I'll give it like a couple of days. And if I still want to do it, fine. But if I do it right now, it's just anger and it's not going to go well. Yeah.
I don't, and on the flip side, I agree. Like, if he was my friend and she wasn't my friend, or even if she, Like
if he was my friend and that happened, he's not my friend anymore.
I might, but I'd probably tell him about himself though. There's no way I'm not telling him about himself. I'm gonna be like, dude, you just fucked up in a way that
I'd ask for his side of the story. I'd be curious enough, depending on the friendship, I'd be curious enough to see like, what happened? Like, what do you think happened? And then if it turns into somehow someone else's fault, I'll be like, dude, no, like,
there's no way,
just not a good person.
You can't just, I don't know. It's a choice. I absolutely believe that like cheating on your spouse is a freaking choice. Even if you're drunk or on steroids or anything else, you chose to do those things. Like you chose to do steroids, you chose to go out drinking, you chose to get drunk, you chose to do all that shit. And if you end up cheating on your wife when you do that, it was your freaking choice. That's my thought process on it. Like I'm not going out to the club without my wife ever. I mean, I'm not going out.
Just in case the line of women hit on you.
Listen, like and you don't know. Like no, and most I don't go out anyway, but like I definitely am not going out without her. Like there's no way in hell.
Yeah, but I think isn't it like, oh yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, go for it.
I just think it's everything is choice. Everything that you ever do is choice. Things happen to you. Like you could get hit by a car. You could, like, and you can go into the minutia of, well, you chose to go to town that day, but I mean, instances will occur to you, like the things will happen to you, but the things that you choose to do, like the acts that you do and the reactions that you have and when you choose to react and how you choose to react, they're all choices. Some of them are fueled with emotions. Some of them are fueled with, like you could be really angry and do something. You could be really afraid and do something. You could be really upset and do something, whatever, aroused and do something in some kind of capacity. But I just think for anyone to pretend that there's anything other than a choice when it comes to, initiating, continuing, or having some kind of extramarital relationship, whether that, like if you're texting a coworker, the contents of the messages and whether it's something that you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. And if you choose to continue doing that, that's your choice. You can play dumb and be like, well, I didn't realize. Like you fucking did know. Like you just didn't realize you're going to get caught. Like you didn't realize, or you thought you'd get away with it and you'd be some kind of fucking Mormon with 5 wives, like whatever. But like I think, I don't know, it's probably it's hard. It's difficult to talk about it in not an emotional way. Like my parents separated after my mother had an affair for like 5 or 6 years, and it's hard not to just have a hard line on what's right and what's wrong, and what, like when it comes to that sort of stuff, where like my dad was even forcing myself to be overly empathetic to her, and say, well, it must have been hard because my dad is very quiet and he worked a lot, and he's a farmer and like there's no money in farming. So he worked like dawn till dusk and it was always I can't go there because something might happen, and I can't go on holidays because something might happen. And that could be frustrating or whatever. But then you just end the marriage. Like then you just say, okay, no, I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled in this relationship.
So your dad was trying to make you not be mad at your mom.
No, he didn't say anything. He didn't give a fuck what I was. But I mean, she has like, it's a fucked up story. But like I was in school and I remember, I think I was like 15 and I can't actually remember why, but I just remember thinking I should read my mom's texts. And I just had this impulse to do it. And then there was just like a litany of, what would you call them? Incriminatory messages. Not like sexting, thank fuck, that would have been scary. But like it was clear even at 15 that like, oh shit, she's having an affair.
Yeah.
And I remember confronting her about it, and she basically gaslit me and convinced me that I was making it up and that she didn't know what I was talking about. And then there was suddenly a passcode on her phone, and that kind of stuff. And that went on for like, that was 15 and 16 and 17, and then we have our like state exams. I don't know what you guys call them, like where your college, your college entry, your last exam in school before you move on or whatever. SATs, no?
Yeah.
SATs. Our equivalent to that, basically. And I couldn't study at all, like just couldn't focus on it and couldn't give a shit. Like, and I remember she used to scold me for not concentrating and focusing and like, working at it and stuff. And yeah, there was just a lot of damage done to our relationship over that time. And eventually I told my dad, like what I knew. And like, my dad isn't an emotional guy. He isn't a very talkative guy. So it was easily, like, hands down, the most awkward, like just horrifically silent conversation I've ever had in my life, where I just drop a bomb and then watch like just no response at all. And I'm like,
gosh,
did you hear what I said? Or
like, do I need to repeat myself?
And yeah, like, it got pretty crazy for a while, where she swore that she was sorry and she'd ended and all this kind of stuff. And then I remember, there was some crazy shit basically, where I remember dad, who, as I say, like basically never talked, was like, I think it's happening again maybe. And I was like, oh fuck. I was like, right, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, I just don't know if it is or not, but I think it is. So we needed kind of proof that it was happening. So she said, I remember her telling me that she was going to she was a teacher, and she was like, I'm going to a conference. And I was like, all right, okay. And she said she was going up the night before because the flight was the next morning early and she's going to stay with her friend. And I was like, okay. And then I remember Googling flights out of Dublin airport and where they'd be going. And I realized that the place that she said she was going didn't have a flight until the next afternoon. So I was like, right, she's lying about where she's going. But she said her flight was at this time. So I said to dad, like, let's just go to the airport at this time and just like see. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. If we're right, we're right. So we were both sitting there in departures, and she comes in with the guy that I knew that she had been having the affair with. And I just said to dad, I was like, oh, that's the guy there. So we just made sure that she saw us, but then we just left. And then I remember the final nail on the coffin was that she still got on the fucking plane. Like, she still went.
Oh my God.
But yeah, like, I mean, an awful lot of stuff happened like around that. And it was just like, I think I was just kind of firmly on my dad's side because he was so, like, vulnerable. I don't know, maybe not vulnerable is not the right word, but he just kind of was oblivious. And like, but all of that stuff, like I say, I understand that he was probably hard to live with. Like, I lived with him, and fucking hell, he's annoying. Like, I remember saying to my wife's family are all really close with each other, and there's no such thing as an awkward silence because there's just never a silence. And I remember saying to Orla before that, like, me and dad would be in the same house each other for 7 days and not speak to each other, but it wouldn't be awkward. We just wouldn't talk to each other. If there's nothing worth talking about, we just wouldn't talk. But like, he just was oblivious to everything that was happening. And again, it comes down to choice. And when whatever year I was 15, I don't know when the fuck that was, she had a choice to say, I'm not happy, or I'm not emotionally fulfilled, or whatever, like, physically fulfilled, I don't fucking know, in this relationship. I need to like seek emotional or physical, like whatever, somewhere else. Fine, but just say that. And then the excuse that I think enrages me more than any is, oh, we have to stay together for the kids. It's like, no, like, sometimes that's just going to do way more damage than if you just like both amicably separated with trust intact and, some kind of vague semblance of friendship intact. That's just so much better than, oh yeah, we grew to fucking despise each other because I hated him because he was keeping me from the person I really wanted to be with, and he hated me because I was taking dick somewhere else and he didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? And then like, I'll never forget when I was like 17 that they renewed their vows for their 25th wedding anniversary, and I was just like, like, what is
Why-
happening?
we
Like,
did
That's
what?
bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
What
it's
is
bullshit.
happening?
Yeah.
I remember
Mhm.
thinking, like, man, if this was America, they'd do that. Does anyone here have any reason to speak? But they
You'd
won't
have
do
been
it
like,
here.
me.
But I was like, oh, fuck, I really hope that happens. But I remember, I'll never forget sitting on her bed that morning saying, like, what are you doing? Like, what is actually happening here? And then she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, this is 2 years of telling me that I imagined it and made it all up. So yeah, I think I probably have a hard line when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's probably great for Orla. She knows that I never like
Do that.
it's still on a list of things that I might fuck up. It's not even
That's not
one
what.
of
Yeah.
yeah, it's not even vaguely I'll fuck up in a litany of ways, but it won't be that. It just does so much damage, and it's just so selfish and so self-centered, and you can tell yourself whatever story you want about emotions or needs or whatever reasoning that you could possibly think of. Like, it's basically just like a drug addict. It's like, well, I needed to do it because I needed to get the drugs, or I needed to steal because I needed this, or I had to hurt that person because of this. And it's like, you just lie to yourself, and you're trying to protect yourself from the shame and the reality of what you're actually doing. And the truth of it is that he had a beautiful family at home, and whatever his relationship was like with his wife, who fucking cares? Leave her then. Do you know what I mean? Just leave if that's the problem. But there's never, in my mind, there's never a reason to say, well, I just didn't want to. No, like, just go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
We always say that, like if there's ever a point where you're unhappy and like we try the counseling thing and it just doesn't work, then
we always say that every morning at breakfast.
No, but I mean, yeah, that's what that sounded like, though.
I think most people do. At the start of a relationship, especially, you're like, are they happy? Like, you kind of. I mean, I think I really like. Orla was as patient as a fucking saint the first, I'd say, 2 years of our relationship, because I just was constantly in a state of doubt of like, does she like someone else? Like, is there like, because all my learned behavior was my main, like my, maternal and female influence growing up. That was my assumption then. That was like, well, that's obviously just a thing that women do. I don't know. Like, I guess every woman does it.
Oh, that's crazy, because that's what we think about y'all.
Oh no,
like, we
I
have
fully
that
understand
constant
that. Yeah.
state of like feeling that like that's what men do. But yeah, I totally see that.
Mhm.
Oh, damn. No.
How's my relationship with my mother now?
Yeah.
I'm like cordial, or friendly or whatever. Like, definitely scarred and tarnished, and I'd never keep her from seeing the grandkids or anything over it. But if there was, like, there's been a lot of cases where I think, to be honest, I think one of the most frustrating parts since is that there's been multiple conversations where, like, say we'd have a christening or our wedding or whatever, and we'd say, oh, like, you can come, just don't bring him because dad's going to be there, and it's just not fair on dad. And then she'd be like, well, sure, it's 5 years ago now, like, surely he's. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not 5 years. It's not like you.
Yeah.
But she had like, she had dealt with it when it started. She was like, well, that's the end of that, and like, this is this new thing. Whereas he found out later and then had to deal with all the hurt and all the shame, and like, he's one of those guys, those like older guys, lives out the country and thinks everybody judges everybody for everything, even though he doesn't judge anyone for everything. He just assumes that, oh, everyone will talk and the neighbors will be talking. So when there was an opportunity for her to stay, he jumped at it. And then when she kicked it off again, if it ever stopped, like, it was just, too bad to continue. But I'd never keep her from seeing the grandkids. She doesn't show that much of an interest in seeing them. I think the last time she saw them was like Christmas. But we'd never keep her away. I think, I wouldn't deprive her of seeing them, but I also wouldn't be like, hey, we're coming over tomorrow so that you can spend time with them. It's like, we're here. She knows where we live. So
yeah.
So you guys have kind of set like, Colleen and I have both had to do that with our moms too. Like, we've kind of had to set the boundaries of how, like, I mean, my mom has passed already, but like, for a long time in my life, like, I had to set boundaries with my mom. There was no way around that. But so do you feel comfortable, like you've set the boundaries? There's no more like, I don't
Yeah,
know, kind of walking
probably.
on eggshells or being
Yeah, probably just organically happened. I think it just, we've had a few arguments about it, mainly around that kind of stuff of like, oh, sure, he should probably just get over it. And it's just kind of like, fuck off. Like, you can't,
yeah.
that's like you run over someone's kid with your car. And then a few years later, you're like, oh, you still talking about that? It's like, you can't just
Yeah.
brush something like that under the rug and pretend it's fine. And it's just kind of selfish to want that. Like, it's selfish to assume that someone else would just like, well, why can't they just get over that horrible, horrible thing that I did to them and the whole family? It's like, and then my sister's argument is always like, well, I mean, she loved you. And I'm like, okay. And then it's like, and she think of all the time she looked after you. And it's like, right. And then think of the horrible thing that she did.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a balance. It's just like, you can't pretend that the bad things didn't happen just because it's like, oh, well, that kid's dad really loved him. It's like, yeah, and he raped him. It's like, you can't, well, he
Right.
bought them a toy at Christmas. Like, cool, yeah, and raped them. It's like, you
Yeah.
can't, I'm not equating it to rape, but you know what I mean? I'm
I
just
get
saying,
it.
like,
Yeah.
The hurt's there. The same
yeah.
kind of hurts there.
Did your
What
parents
would
go to counseling? My dad is a 75-year-old Irish farmer, so no,
No.
absolutely not. But I mean, as well,
Trust
it's like, by the time that opportunity would have arisen, the damage had been done. I mean, at the initiation of it was the opportunity for her to say, hey, I think we should probably go and talk to someone, or we should talk to each other. But yeah, no, didn't.
Well, I always find it interesting because my parents were living in the same house, but they weren't together. And I can always speak from a kid's perspective is I wish that my mother left my father earlier. I think if when I was younger it would have happened, I would have been upset that it happened. But now being an adult and seeing and hearing stories and then remembering my own personal experience with having the two of them in the house and all type of stuff, like I can understand, or I would have grown to understand why she left. It might have been difficult when it happened because all you want is your parents together. You just want the big happy family, all these type of things. But the one thing that I can say is that my parents and close family members, cousins, siblings, and whatever, I grew up with a lot of examples of things that I thought were good relationships. And then I got with Garrett and I realized that that's not how I want my marriage to be. So just because, and this goes back to choices, just because you were given a roadmap of, relationships and marriages and whatever, doesn't mean that you have to follow the same roadmap. So for you, kind of, growing up with that example, what would you say, one, was the hardest for you guys when you first got married? And what do you think has been the biggest, thing that you had to overcome?
I'd say me internalizing stuff. I'd say the biggest thing I'd say, she never gave me a reason not to trust her, but I always assumed early on, like, I mean, she's definitely going to cheat on me. Like that was always my assumption. And then I think it took a long time. She probably would tell you that I still don't tell her things, but it took me a long time to talk about stuff. Like if there was something wrong or if I had a problem or if, I was worried about something or whatever, because that just did not happen in our house growing up. Like it was like, if there was, dad could have been in dire financial straits with the farm. Nobody would ever know.
Yeah, he was not telling nobody.
He'd just be a bit more grumpy for a while, or he'd just be a bit like even more quiet for a while. But no, you'd never. But then I think a lot of that changed. Just my life is so fucking weird. But a lot of that changed when
aren't all of ours?
Yeah, we all are.
The more we talk to people, the more I'm like, wow, we're similar here. Wow, we experienced something like that.
When we were like, I think we had just gotten engaged. And this is actually kind of funny. So we were at a fancy dress thing at the gym and we were dressed as a mountain climber. So I was dressed as a mountain and I had like grey face paint on and a big triangle. And she was dressed as a climber and we were a mountain climber. And I got a call from dad saying, oh, I'm after falling. Can you come home? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I called him again when I was on the drive home, dressed as a fucking mountain. And I was like, oh, like, what do you mean you fell? And he goes, oh, I fell in the shed. And I was like, okay, like on the ground or like, you know, over something, what? And he goes, oh, yeah, well, I fell through the roof. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm at Tommy, that's my uncle who lives next door. He's like, I'm at his Jeep and I just can't get into the Jeep. He's going to bring me home, but I just can't get into the Jeep. And I was like, okay. So I arrived home and he was just standing with one hand on the roof of the Jeep and one foot on the step to get into the Jeep, and he just wasn't moving. I was like, what happened? And he goes, I fell through the roof. So I walked into the shed, it's like, you know, like a peaked roof. And I was expecting a hole like here, like at the bottom, and it was like up here.
Oh.
And he landed on like concrete. And then I looked around at where he had gone. And so he had gotten up, walked to the gate of the shed. And there, you know, the way farm gates, you always have to lift it up. They never just walk. You either have to stand on it or lift it up. Yep. So he lifted it up, walked outside, got to another gate, lifted that gate, opened it, walked out, got to the Jeep. And his idea was, he's so fucking Irish. His idea was, he goes, I was just going to go home and have a really hot shower. He was like, there's something, like my back is like there's something wrong with the muscle. I was just going to go home and have a really hot shower. And then that would fix it. And then about a month previously, he got in a knot in his shoulder. He couldn't like move his neck or whatever. And I felt his trap and I was like, fucking hell, you have a massive, like I literally burst the knot. You know, you could feel it just dissipate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was like, geez, that's way better. So then his thing then when he's at the Jeep was, will you rub my back and like get rid of the knot or whatever? And I was like, I'm calling an ambulance. From like 18 feet onto concrete. Landed on your back, and he goes,
you were going to the hospital.
He was like, oh, I just hopped up and like walked out or whatever, and then he basically got that far and the adrenaline wore off is what happened.
Yeah.
So called an ambulance. We had to wait like 20 minutes because we lived in the asshole of nowhere. Ambulance come out and they were like, I think he's okay. And I was like to the ambulance driver, oh, cool, you've got an x-ray machine in the back of the ambulance, do you? Like, what do you mean you think he's okay? Just look where he fell from. So I insisted that they bring him to the hospital. They brought him. And they x-rayed him in the hospital and they were like, no, he's fine. I was in the hospital with him and they were like, no, he's fine. Like he's, you know, just
with
like a bruise.
With your costume still on, right? With your triangle on.
I think I had washed off the face paint. But when the ambulance came, I was still grey. He must have thought I was in shock. And like Bernie's comment, I swear to fucking God, a physio came and had him walking up and down the corridor. And he was like, you just need to keep moving, just keep moving. My father-in-law is a consultant radiologist. So he reads x-rays after they're done and says, yeah, you got it right. Or no, you made a mistake, you missed something, right? So I said, wait, I wonder is that legal? Let's pretend that hypothetically I call him and I say, could you have a look at this x-ray? And I don't know if it's legal that he did it or not. Fuck it. So he looked at it and said, yeah, he has like 3 breaks in his back. And he's like, I can see it, but it's been reported as fine. So he had to call the guy that did the x-ray and explain like, hey, I just randomly from a different hospital happened to come across this x-ray and you missed something. He has 3 broken bones in his back. And then there was this sudden panic of like, get into the fucking bed, don't move. Because like it was an unstable fracture. So
he shouldn't have moved from the minute that he fell to the concrete.
So it was like, it was above, I can't remember the numbers. I don't know how it works, but it was basically like, if it had broken, it was everything from lungs down. So he was just dead. So like, it's like however far down it is, stuff below that stops working. So like if it's the base of your spine, I think it's like your legs. If it's higher up, it's like your hips and your legs. If it's higher up, it's, you know, the nerves control different bits, whatever. So it would have been his lungs. And they were like, you could have been fine. But then if you fell again, you just wouldn't be able to breathe. You'd die. So he had to get like scaffolding put in and all this. And anyway, that basically forced him to just be useless and he had to rely on us.
It sounds like a building. Like he needed building.
Yeah, it's just literally like
rods.
Bars going up either side and in through, and it just keeps it stable. So he had to rely on us then to kind of look after the farm and stuff. And then because he had to do that, he had to talk to us loads. And then because he had to talk to us loads, he would talk to us loads, and he wouldn't just talk to us about like farm stuff. He talked to us about like life and stuff. And then yeah, then after that, he had to get his hip replaced. And you know, then he had to get his other hip replaced, and both those times we had to look after him again and again, just like kind of strengthen the relationship and the bond that I have with him and stuff. And we kind of realized that we don't have a lot in common, but we have a lot of kind of time for each other, and that, you know, we kind of get on well now. He comes in every week for dinner and stuff, and we visit him frequently, and he only lives like maybe 20 minutes away.
Well,
But
shit, I'm on your dad's side too. And yes, you do have a lot in common. You are also the quiet, stoic, silent type, Pedro.
yeah, I thought it's silent.
Well,
But
when
yeah.
we saw him, you know, from being jet lagged, and when you came to Crash, wasn't that like the second time that you were in the States, like very close together? Didn't you come out here for something before that?
SoCal. I was at SoCal, went home, and then came back. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
he
was
had
rough.
flown to the States twice in like
No,
a month.
we talked
You
it
guys
out.
made up, I know.
We did the thing.
And again, he didn't know
And
that something was wrong.
he told
until
me about
you
myself, and I
told
said,
him
"Yeah, you're
on-
right. My bad." Like,
At the end of that show on Wednesday, people started at me about my general disposition when people meet me, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening? Why is just at the end of the debate show?" I was like, "This has nothing to do with what we're talking. Why am I getting attacked for not giving people are coming up to me? So people come up to me with an expectation of how they want me to be to them."
Yep.
And then when I don't meet that expectation that they have in their head, they think I'm a dick.
Yeah,
Who's the dick in that scenario?
You're right.
Tell him.
You're right.
Tell him.
You're right. You absolutely.
Someone said on Reddit once, if you want to humble yourself, just Google like your name or your show or whatever on Reddit. And someone said, "Oh, that guy is a dick. I met him once, and he was a complete dick," or something along those lines. And I replied to the comment, and I was like, "When did we meet, and in what way was I a dick? Because it wouldn't be my intention to do that." No reply. That same guy commented on something about Rich Froning. I can't remember what it was. And there was a thread about Rich Froning, and he said, "Rich Froning always struck me as entitled. I met him once. During the games, we stayed at the same hotel, and he didn't stop and talk to me." And I was like, so when he was competing at the CrossFit games, he didn't stop and talk to someone that he probably didn't know wanted to talk to him anyway. Right. And again, you had this idea built up in your head of Rich Froning is my hero. He's going to see me looking at him, clock eyes, and come over and say, "Hey, how are you, man? What's your name? We're going to be friends forever."
And everything.
It was probably after the 333. He probably needed
But I replied to the comment, and I was like, "You've said this about me before as well. There seems to be a common denominator, as in like maybe you're the problem, not like the people that you're meeting." And then someone else replied and was like, "Yeah, you're both dicks." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe that too." But it's just, this a person's expectation. Yeah. You know, like when people say never meet your heroes, it's like, no, meet your heroes. Just don't go into it with an expectation of what it's going to be like.
Yeah. Huge expectation. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, and it's possible. I had my period that weekend too, so it probably was my fault. Like, it's very possible.
I could sense it. That's why.
It was my first day, and the first 2 days are never good days. So it's probably that. No, ever in my entire life.
Summer Vine. This will answer a question. How do I say SAOIRSE?
Oh, soiree.
What?
Is that it? What is it?
Can you pull up the comment and read it?
Yeah. Oh no. What is that? I don't know.
How would you say that?
In what language?
It's a name, like.
Oh. I don't know. All I know is São Paulo from Brazil. So the first part I would just go immediately to Sao Paulo. Okay. I don't know what the end is. Urse?
You're not far off. Saoirse.
Oh, okay. So
SAOR in Irish will be Sair, as in like free. So put an I in front of the or and it becomes Seer because it, feminizes the vowels or whatever. And then sh, because we just add in a H to everything apparently. So Saoirse. They're like Saoirse Ronan, the actress.
Oh, no. But
she's in Brooklyn and Atonement and I don't know what else.
That's amazing. That's what that
says.
I
never would have guessed.
I would have never got there.
Never would have guessed.
I think when she first broke in America, people would be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Saoirse Ronan." And then she would be like, "It's Saoirse."
Nope. I mean, it's way easier to say than I would have thought it would have
Yeah.
been.
You
Well,
just
your
need to know how
comment
to say it.
earlier to Sev was so funny. You're like, no, I can read.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the kids real quick, because I have to tell you this story because I need your professional male opinion.
Oh,
But
fuck.
so
Don't put him on. Too much expectations too high, babe.
yo,
Don't put
I'm
that
not
pressure on
asking him to do an impersonation. I just want to know his
That was
thoughts on
funny.
the scenario.
That was funny too.
I mean, if he hadn't have said, I was like, there's a reason I used AI for that Indian voice because now none of us can ever get in trouble for the advert. But if
Yeah.
I suddenly start doing an Indian accent on the show, I can suddenly now start being judged for doing that. I'm not putting up with that shit. Some things just aren't worth the
Craig,
fight.
what's up? Oh yeah, this one I know across fat. Siobhan. I had a
that's
friend.
Siobhan, yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend in high school. That's what.
How do
that's
you get
I was not.
how do you get an Irish girl on the bus?
Shove her on.
Shove her on.
I said her, but yeah, I got it. That's awesome.
Well, hold on. Did we actually meet CrossFat?
Oh shit. Wasn't great, wasn't shite. Did you? Well, they were guessing who, like on this morning show, they were trying to guess who CrossFat was, and everyone thinks he's from like he's an OG, like 2007.
It was there was a long time I thought CrossFat was like someone like Boz. Like I thought it was like someone deep in the inner circle somewhere. Now that he's used the word shite, now I kind of think maybe he's not American at all. God, that's really fucked with my head.
Yeah. CrossFat's fun. Like
Yeah.
Trish.
Trish, CrossFat and Trish are probably the two best humorous commenters, I'd say.
Trish is great.
Anyway, advice or whatever opinion,
hi,
whatever
CrossFat.
it was.
Thanks for hanging out with us, dude.
It's because we figured out it's Boz.
Yeah.
Gotta go write some work. I mean, gotta go.
So today we had Garrett's first baseball practice. He's in Little League or whatever, where the dads pitch to the kids and they don't pitch to each other, and it's a bunch of kids just running around chasing a ball, whatever.
Okay.
It's not like real baseball. And so we went.
Well noted.
That's good because I don't know what real baseball is, so that's good.
It's not. It's just it's the coach pitching to the kids, and then they switch sides, and they whatever. So Garrett he's over the moon with this, right? He's got his Yankees hat on. He's super excited, all the gear ready to go. Jumps out there.
So out of character for him to go all in on something like that.
Yeah, I know. Fair, very fair. But he's been practicing for this for like a month, just outside, whether I'm with him or he's by himself. Like he is practicing, and he's so pumped. And so he gets into it. He's on third base. He's playing third base, right?
Okay, he's standing at a plate.
He's standing at the third plate.
So
is he catching?
Home base, there's first, second, and third.
Is he on the throwing team?
He's on.
Is he catching the ball? He's okay.
He's on defense.
He's protecting third base. He's not standing at it. Okay,
running on third base. This kid hits a ground ball. He fields it cleanly, right? So now I'm already standing.
Meaning he picked it up
correctly.
Okay,
like he picked it up correctly, like with no errors whatsoever happening.
Stop talking in baseball lingo.
Sorry,
talk like very simple.
Bernie,
I can figure it out, but I just need to translate it out loud. He fielded cleanly. He picked it up. Okay, that's easier. He didn't fall over when trying to pick it up.
Yes,
he didn't do this.
And the ball didn't go through his legs.
Nope.
He got it perfectly.
No Bill Buckner, nothing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So so now I'm already on my feet.
Yes, we do.
So I'm on my feet, like already clapping for my kid because he did the unthinkable, right? Now he has enough presence of mind to turn around, run to third base, and step on it.
Okay, so he's secured third base now. So that's the right thing. A lot of people wouldn't remember to do that. They just look straight for fourth or home or whatever. Is that the same thing? Home and fourth the same thing? Okay. Fifth? I don't know. Fifth is back on the bus.
The kid that's running to third base, who's now out because my son stepped on third base, is like, no, I'm not out. And he like chest bumps my kid, like literally like full on chest bumps my kid. And he's like, I'm not out. I'm not out. And my kid's like, whatever, because he doesn't give a shit and whatever. But now as a parent in the stands, I'm like, I'm not meant to be a fan parent in the stands because you just chest bumped my kid and now I want to punt you and your 20-pound self.
Yeah, but do you not do what I do in those scenarios?
No, I don't. That's why I want to know what you do in those scenarios.
See, you immediately scan the crowd for the parent of that child.
Oh, and then go get...
And then you look at them and you're like, yeah, that's that.
Okay, is that what
Or you look at them and say, you seem like a normal enough and you kind of look at them, letting them know that you know what's happened, and they might say, fuck, I need to talk to him on the way home now. That's not okay. So it'll go one of two ways. They'll either be like, you don't say anything, but you make it clear that like by either shouting at your own kid so that they can hear you, or just that sort of like sideways glance that you're like, come on, like,
no, I fucked up. I didn't catch myself.
That's a reflection of you there. That child's behavior is a reflection of you. It's not the kid's fault.
No, it's not. It's not. But I stood up and I'm like, no, you're out. And then I want to explain it to him, right? Like I have every
marching across the field.
Yeah.
Listen, Sonny.
I have every rule in the rule book because like baseball's my thing.
Page
and I'm like,
8.
I was like, no, bro, that's a forced play. You're out. Like, is that? But he didn't.
But is there not like a referee or a?
No, it is, but they're babies and it doesn't fucking matter. And I shouldn't have
cared.
What age?
Like 13?
No, 8.
Oh, I forgot that your kid is freakishly tall.
I should not have cared at all. Like I should have just been like,
whatever. You should have cared. You should have cared. You're right to care.
Well, G cares because he watches the game and he
knows the rules.
He knows the rules. So
his reaction is a great reflection on you guys, though. That he was both.
No, he did not give a shit.
I mean, he did look at us.
He didn't give a shit because he probably knew he was right. He was like, I don't give a fuck if you think you're in or out. You're out.
And I shouldn't have also cared because this kid was literally a quarter of the size of my kid. Like they're both 8 years old. Garrett's like almost 5 feet tall, and this kid was probably 4'2". So I shouldn't have given a shit at all. And Garrett didn't care, and he knew he was right.
Yeah, he kind of looked at us and he was like, "Wait, mommy," and
we clapped for him. Like we knew he was like, "You did good,"
and
he was fine. But me, in my stupid ass brain, I'm like, go sit your ass on the bench because you're out.
Like, yeah. Listen, you little dickhead. It's a forced play, and my son would twist you into a pretzel if he wanted to. And if he doesn't, I will.
Yeah.
And my wife's going to eat you like a snack. Go sit on the bench.
I gotta get my shit together. I'm not going to last. This was the first day.
It is really hard, though. I think when you see someone being wronged, even if he's not seeing someone being wronged, but if you see somebody doing wrong, it's hard not to. Like, I don't know if you have these here in the States, but in Ireland we have these like family parking spots, like in parking lots outside stores and like grocery stores. Yeah. So there's like wheelchair spots, and then there might be like 5 family spots, so the doors can open wider without hitting a car, basically, because you have to get the car seat out and that kind of stuff. But like, they're just abused. Like, so there's maybe 5 in a good parking lot will have like 5. And like our parking space are very tight because our cars are a lot smaller than most of your cars. So our space are very small. And you're really like fucking struggling. And then if you have a kid like Bodie who's just like, door, and just like opens it, or like will run out into the fucking car park when you're trying to take out a bag or something. So the mother and baby or the family spots are always beside a pavement, so you have a clean way of what you can just say stand on the pavement, because the other ones are just all over the place. But the last day I was went to do the shopping, drove around, no spots, and I remember driving past the 5 mother and baby spots or family spots or whatever, and I looked at the cars and I was like, no fucking shot there's car seats or kids in any of those cars. So I parked in a really shit place, had to like walk across the car park, whatever. It's fine, like whatever. And then as I was walking in, a woman got out of a car that was in the family spot. And usually I'm really good at just not saying anything, just being like, all right, you're a piece of shit, like in my head. And
Today was not one of those days.
No, so I stopped her and I said, oh shit. I said, and she stopped, goes, what? I said, you forgot your kid in the car. And she goes, oh, I don't have a child. And I said, oh, you shouldn't park in that spot then. And she said, well, I've a sore leg. And I said, yeah, it's not a handicap spot. It's a family spot. Like it's for people who can't open the door, who need to open the door wider to get their little fucking terrorist out the back. And I said, so because you parked there, I had to park over at the other place and I had to walk across the car park with my kid instead of just being at the door going in the footpath. And I said, and then she goes, oh, I don't have to answer to you. And I said, no, but you do have to, you know, consider maybe following the basic structures of society that have been set in place for us. I was like, that's a family spot. Like, I'm not making up the rule. It's a family spot. And like, but I was carrying him and he just kept like grabbing my face and turning it to him. Basically, and he just kept going like, who are you talking to? And then I lost myself at the end because she just wouldn't see and like wouldn't say like, you know what, you're right, next time I won't, or even just like, okay, whatever. She just kept saying like, no, but my leg. So but he turns my face and goes, who are you talking to? And I said, a piece of shit. And I regretted it straight away. And then I walked away and I was like, you know what? Actually, I don't regret it. The only thing I regretted was saying shit to him. Like apart from that, I didn't really regret it. But he didn't repeat it back, which was a nice little mini win.
Oh, he didn't come home and be like, "Hey, mommy, guess what?"
No, Daddy was talking to a piece of shit.
I expect him to hold up like a pack of ground beef or whatever and say, "Look, shit," or I expect him to straight away regurgitate it back. But I think it's like stuff like that. It's especially when it's your kid, especially when it's your kid. It's hard to detach yourself from either if it's a moral thing or if it's a protective thing or if it's I think that was, for me, that was just about 3 weeks of going to that same store and never having a parent spot and sometimes having the 3 kids and being like, how the fuck am I going to get these out of the car without one of them getting run over?
So or really you're like, I've earned this spot. You didn't earn this spot.
Yeah, me and my fast sperm.
Girl bot.
Worked hard.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
Your thoroughbred sperm deserve this fucking parking spot right now. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I'm just been distracted by the back. Can you touch each other? Are you sitting beside each other?
No. We're across from each other, yeah.
You have the same picture. Is that the same?
No, it's different people. It's all from Crash.
Oops, let me move. It's all from Crash.
Oh, I thought it was okay. I thought they ran into each other, and I was like, I don't understand how, unless you were sitting opposite sides and then switched for this.
The CEO flag is on the bottom behind her. That's the wall across from me, and
okay.
And don't mind my sunburn from watching my kid.
Yeah, that's
her being God.
Yeah,
from an hour.
5 minutes in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
She's Welsh.
Jeez Louise.
Right here. That's the Welsh. That's happening.
Yep.
Real Matthew. I like this one. You look at the dad and tell him if it happens again, you're gonna him with his wife's severed arm. That was me.
God, I thought sodomize was a pretty clean way for him to say that.
It was. I just don't like saying it.
Butt fuck him? You're gonna butt fuck
that's better. For me, that's better. I listened to rap in the 90s. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or drop the soap and some shit.
So I can't say the whole name of the song. But do you remember the song that the baby was listening to the other day and what word he used?
No, just say it. I
am not saying the N-word.
Oh, in Paris, the Kanye song?
Hard or easy?
No, A. A.
Oh, that is okay.
I know, but what did he say?
Something in Paris. It's the song.
Yeah, but how do you? What do the G's sound like in Spanish? Do they sound like J's?
Isn't it?
So he comes out and he's like, I'm listening to blah, blah in Paris, and I was like, oh my God.
It's not.
Did he say it with the Spanish G's?
Yes, he did.
So he said Nija.
Yes.
Yep.
Never correct him. If he's willing to just flippantly throw it around like that, do not correct him.
He's gonna go to school and be like, guess what song I listen to?
Yeah. Oh my God.
But when it comes to our kids and like protecting our kids and not knowing like how much to let them try to figure it out and then how to step in and help them and whatever. So I've told the story to the chat's heard it before, but so I took him to the school they were doing this Easter egg hunt thing. So they all got, the eggs are all over the playground. They all run around, they get their eggs, they come inside. And a friend of his was also there. So Garrett was in line to get, I don't know, face paint or a tattoo or something like that. And he was standing in line and I had his bucket. His friend comes up to me and says,
full
hey,
of Easter eggs. The Easter eggs.
Of Easter eggs. Yeah. Garrett's friend comes up to me and says, Garrett said that we could trade eggs. And I said, well, I'm not going to give them to you. I will bring this bucket to Garrett so that you guys can decide what you want to do. So I give the bucket to Garrett and I start to walk away. And this kid grabbed the one golden egg that Garrett had gotten in his bucket.
The special egg.
And Garrett was like traumatized. And I started talking to him and I said, did you want to share with him? And he said, I did, but not that egg. And I was like, it's okay. Next time, it's okay to say, I'll share with you, but not this egg. So then Garrett's in line and this kid comes up again and he wants to trade again. But again, it's just taking an egg and replacing it with another egg. I picked up this egg and it's empty.
He was giving them empty eggs.
This little shit was going around and getting eggs from people.
I mean, it's a good side hustle,
and then bringing the empty eggs. So I was like, no, not my kid. He's too nice. I was like, bud, you can't keep taking Garrett's stuff. So I took the egg back and whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was like, no, not my kid.
You've heard of umpires. Colleen is the egg pyre.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Not my kid. He's too nice.
No, I think that's a fine way to interject. Because as well, if you do it with a bit of respect, then your kid sees that, learns that, and hopefully does that.
Yeah.
As opposed to just throw punching them when they take his last egg.
I mean, I get it.
She was like, I was hoping he was going to jujitsu him.
I was waiting because when he took the gold egg, I could see how upset Garrett was. And I wasn't a part of the exchange. So I couldn't really, I wasn't going to go to the kid and be like, you need to give that egg back. So we talked about it. I was like, it's okay if there's certain eggs next time, if there's certain ones you don't want to share, just say, I'll share eggs, but not this one.
Where are you from, Colleen?
Upstate New York.
Where?
Syracuse.
Albany.
Okay. Yeah, close to Albany. I was born up there. Why?
You sound like when you get passionate talking about something, you sound like more like I'm gonna mess up. You sound like New York.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
When you get angry or agitated about something, you sound like Queens, or because when you were saying you were like, oh, I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, she sounds like she's from somewhere that absolutely would shout across a grass field, like, hey, you little shit.
And does your wife have this? Because Colleen definitely does. Like, she can't mute her face. Like, whatever she's thinking is on her face.
And yeah, my wife has that.
Okay, good.
I don't know if that's true, because Bill said in the Pat Lang conversation that we had that he didn't know what I was thinking because I had such a poker face. But she says I don't have subtitles.
I think if you consciously think about it, you can hide it. Like if my wife is deliberately trying to be muted, she won't. But if there's someone like outside, saying something or doing something, she'd be like, judging them so harshly based on our facial expressions. And I'd be like, they're not blind, right? Like, they can see you.
I was gonna ask you, do you let her know, or do you just sometimes let her?
If I respect the person that she's looking at, I'll let them know. Like, I'll say like, hey, you're making a weird face at that person. But if I don't give a shit about them, I'll just see how it
let it go. Yeah. Hey, babe, you had one more question for him. You wanted to ask.
Oh, yeah. So
before we head out,
on the show, around the whiteboard, you were starting to say that you were supposed to take a class at school or a training at school, but that you never elaborated on it. So my question is, what class were you supposed to take, and why did you choose not to?
So that will I have to be able to find the name of it? I don't think give me a minute.
Yeah, Megan, I get Botox so my face doesn't give it away. Oh, that's fair.
No, I don't have it. It was something to do with. It was like LGBTQ plus. Something I can't remember. LGBTQ plus.
Was it How to Be Nice to Us?
Yeah, like something along those lines. I can't remember what the last bit of it was. Like in not, it wasn't inclusive. It was something, but I just remember being like, why the fuck are we doing this in primary, like in elementary school? I was like, is this for staff to engage with each other, or is it for us to engage with kids? Like, why are we getting involved in the sexuality? I was like, what the fuck's happening here? And it was like mandatory for all staff. And if you like it, we've never had a message like this about a staff meeting. Usually the staff meetings are like staff meeting Wednesday this time. And then like I'd say I've been to like 3 and they're every fucking week nearly. But I always have to collect the kids, bring them to gymnastics or whatever. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not missing that to listen to people complain about something that's never going to be fixed.
Right.
So this was like unusual. It stood out because the first line of the message was mandatory all staff. And I was like, weird. And then I read it and it was like training day, Wednesday from something to something, mandatory all staff was written again. And then it was like, if you have a reason that you cannot, if you have a extenuating circumstance that will stop you coming to this, you need to email the office and let us know. And I was like, that's fucking bizarre because I've never done that. And then it was like LGBTQ plus, I fucking can't remember the last word. It wasn't inclusive, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my wife about it. I was like,
was it like a sensitivity course?
I don't think it was sensitivity because it wasn't that overt, but
Can we write you a doctor's note to get out of that?
No, I actually, I sort of lied. Well, I kind of lied. So my son has to have an operation. We know he has to have an operation, like something minor. It's not a big deal. He's not going to die or anything. But I was like, right, I know that's going to happen. So I'll sow a seed for that now by saying I'm going to get a second opinion in the hospital that I know the operation is going to happen in eventually. So then I said, I actually have to bring him to this thing in a different city. So I won't be able to be there. And then, because now there is a truth to that and that he will be getting an operation in that city later on. So when I say he's going for the operation in that city now, they won't be like, oh yeah, sure. He mentioned that at that's the reason he missed the gay training thing. But it was like, I just remember being like, what? I said it to my wife. I was like, is this for the kids? Like, because what 6-year-old is coming up to you being like, hey, listen, so I'm gay. How sensitive are you going to be towards me? Like, the whole thing for me is I will not treat any child differently to any other child, provided they're not a dick. And that's just the rule. Like, like black, white, gay, straight, don't care. But like, it just blew my mind that this was a thing in primary school.
All kids can be dicks.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I was just like, my initial instinct was it has to be for the staff. Like, it has to be an adults to adults thing. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, it can't be though. Yeah. Like, it has to be about the kids. And then I was like, why are we getting involved? Like, why? Because they're gay or lesbian or whatever the other letters stand for. Why are we getting involved when they're that, but we're not getting involved? Or we haven't been getting involved when they're straight? Like, why all of a sudden is it like, whoa, well, we better get involved now? And it's like, no, you just treat them the fucking same because you don't make them feel different.
Yep.
Right.
Like, you just treat everybody as a human and then it's fine. As opposed to being like, well, there's someone gay in this room. Boop.
Let's all clap for them. I know. It's crazy.
You know, it's just like, why treat, it's just, I was so fucking baffled by it. I was like, I'm not going to that.
Bernie, was it a government mandated meeting?
No, I think
just a school.
The school, I think so we have mandated hours that we have to do training across the year because we signed some stupid fucking pay deal like 15 years ago that's still in place now, and we have to do these extra hours outside of school. And within that, you can choose whatever you want to do it on. And because we're an Educate Together school, we're not a Catholic. Most of the schools here are Catholic denominational. So like, good luck doing that in a Catholic school. But because we're non-denominational, we like, it's just over the top. Guys, we're really not a religious school. You know, like, look, we're doing this LGBTQ plus training thing. And most of the stuff we do is shite. Like, just, like, could be an email type bullshit. But this one really stood out as like, why do they keep saying mandatory? And why do they keep saying all staff? And like 3 times in one message. This is really weird. So yeah, I just didn't go to it. So I'll never know what it was.
Good for you.
Maybe somebody was going to come out.
Maybe there's a staff member that wants to let you know.
Yeah, it was like, a fake meeting, and it was just really a coming out party, and I missed a bit of rainbow cake.
Oh,
oh
that's
my
sad.
God. Well, get ready. We all have to gear up. Pride Month is coming, so we gotta, put our crash helmets on and batten down the hatchets because fun.
We put up a rainbow, like a LGBTQ plus whatever flag at the school last year, and we had a pride parade at the school last year. And I just remember being like, "What the
Why
fuck is happening? Like, who is this for? Again, who is it for? Like, is it for? Is there a kid here whose parents are gay and we're doing it for them? And does that kid like that it's being done for them? And then there's a shit ton of Muslims in the school as well. So then it gets awkward because the Muslims are like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
like,
No
no,
way.
you must. And it's like, well, must they?
And
It's like,
that's
who is it for? Is it for you? Is it for the person organizing it to feel better about the fact, like, so they can say, guys, look at the tokenism, look what I did. I organized this thing in our school. Is it for the school? Is it for the parents? Is it for the parents of, like, whatever kid that has gay parents in the school? Is it for them? Is it for just the locality? Like, I just don't understand. I just want to know the why.
yeah.
Like, I want to know who is it for?
It's
Like,
probably
is it
it's probably for the straight parents, honestly. Like I don't think the
Probably.
gay parents give a shit, but the straight parents want to look like allies.
Some. I think
Some
some.
of
I
them,
think
but
some do.
But the allies, always the allies want
like when
to,
you see a 4-year-old going around with a rainbow flag that they've
Yeah,
drawn themselves and they
it's-
have no concept of what or why or whatever, and it's just like, what do you have there? Rainbow. It's like, why the teacher just said to draw a rainbow, and it's like, cool. Like, what
Yeah,
are we teaching
no.
them? It's just
Well, I
indoctrination.
mean,
Just if
we
you-
asked Garrett because
if you want to draw a rainbow, draw a rainbow.
Yeah, he was
as long
coming
as,
home coloring rainbow, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because for us, the initial thing is, are they fucking teaching him shit that he's not supposed to be teaching? And I just asked him, I'm like, hey, bud, you like to color things in rainbow? Like, why do you like to do that? And he's like, I just like all the colors. I'm like, cool.
Cool.
That's the only
Good shit.
response that I need. I don't need anything else than that, but also, and this is something that her and I have realized, shockingly through this podcast and talking to so many people, is that when you lead with your identity, you feel like your identity needs to be validated everywhere that you
And
are.
defended.
Yeah.
And defended. Yes. So I think that is also a big thing too, where you're coming from this place where some people still feel that way, that it needs to be defended. It needs to be shown everywhere. And at the end of the day, being gay is a sexual orientation. It is what I choose to do in my bedroom. It has nothing to do with my kid. My kid has 2 moms and my kid responds that way. I've got 2 moms.
Mhm.
And that's the gist of what he says. You know what I mean? But this forcing it on
I think,
people.
yeah, I think the annoying thing is that there are, if I said what I said just now, which I think is a reasonable, rational response to the training and the parade and stuff at school, if I said that at a staff meeting or to anyone, I'd immediately be designated as a homophobe. Do you know what I mean? Straight
Yeah,
away,
that's
it'd
so
be
sad,
like,
bro.
well, the only reason you're saying that is because you hate gay people. It's
Yeah.
like,
No.
how have you made
we
that
get
connection?
Yeah.
We get
Yeah.
that
I get that.
response by simply asking questions.
No,
by
we
Yeah.
hate ourselves though. We
Yeah.
don't. We hate gay people and ourselves.
We
like
hate-
we
we
just
actually hate
who we are
ourselves,
because
so,
we say
yeah.
that. But
Mhm.
Well, to come full circle, I just hate Mitchell Hooper
there you go.
and slow sperm.
We're having a Mexican parade for Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, love Cinco de Mayo, bro.
Oh my God.
Go have a
wait,
great time.
Wait, before we go.
No,
just-
don't bring up that. I'm gonna bring it up tomorrow.
Okay,
no,
I won't.
Joseph, if you want to know what she was about to say,
Okay.
tune into the Savon podcast tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll be on over there at 5 EST. So, yo, Pedro, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out.
I
with us.
really appreciate this so
Pleasure.
much as always. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us for the duration. If you missed the Kentucky Derby and that sperm, I'm sorry, but you got good sperm over here. So it's cool.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Deuces.